A rumor that there's this intimidating toothbrush that's been terrorizing people. And so,
Listen, Linda.
Have you been ran out of your
honey,
home?
listen.
Have you been ran out of your home because of an electric toothbrush or something?
I really did think I was praying over my family. I was praying that we would not have a bomb go off in our home. Nobody knows what we're talking about.
No,
I don't even know.
Do you want me to tell you guys what happened?
I'm afraid to hear this.
I'm afraid.
So it was a Monday morning a week ago, and I sleep really hard on Sunday nights because Sunday's a really, really big day for ministry, for worship leading and stuff. And so I was out, and I was awoken from a dead sleep by a terrible noise. And it sounded...
Sounds like a Christmas story.
That's what I was thinking.
And what was the clatter?
Listen, it sounded like someone was sawing through my wall, and there was water, like a waterfall. And I called Justin, I put it on speakerphone, and I said, babe, this is not good. Like, something really, really bad has happened. He's like, I'm just now pulling into the plant. And I'm like, it's really bad. And he goes, okay, I'm pulling away from the plant. and he came home, and for 25 minutes, that's how long it takes him. I prayed, and I called him again. I said, do I need to take the kids for safety? I got the dogs out of our room because I thought that my room was going to blow up and we were all going to die. I was really, really scared. And he came home, and he
what was it, Lindsay? What was it?
He opens the shower door, and he said, babe, looks like my toothbrush fell off the ledge and somehow got turned on. Turned the toothbrush off. And we were saved. My hero.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm a little bit shocked. So can I speak on behalf of the audience?
Please.
Here's what everybody, y'all feel free to chime in and tell everybody that you're agreeing with me here.
Yes.
So I learned a lot about you already. So here's the question.
Okay.
You know, there are, on this planet, when something happens, there are a million possibilities.
Yes.
You went straight to the house is going to blow up.
I went straight to the Lord in prayer.
Well, that
for
was
my house.
After your house is going to blow up. I mean, why couldn't it have been that there is a mole who is bore into your house?
Listen, when I was like in
How about, when I was in middle
school, our water
It was
heater
an Al Qaeda
exploded.
mole. It was
okay?
going to blow up, okay?
Our water heater exploded when I was in middle school in the bathroom right next to my room. And so I thought, it's happening again, and there's going to be fire
that's
and
at least more realistic
water
than a bomb
everywhere. I thought it was
see
over.
that.
I almost called my neighbors. I was like, do I need to call?
It was over.
Oh, my
Listen.
word.
I just want to know, why was there like a lack of investigation?
I went in
Because I
there.
feel like Justin got there, and within 5 minutes, he was like, yeah, it's a toothbrush.
That's
It was
another
within
great
like 30
question.
seconds.
Yeah.
But I went in the bathroom.
I mean,
and
you're
I
dead
couldn't
anyway.
Find the sound.
Why not at least go
walked
see
all
why you're gonna
over.
die?
I don't think due diligence was actually.
No, I'm going to die.
Listen.
That's what's determined.
I have
at least
never
want to see why I'm gonna die.
proclaimed to have excellent technical skills. I've never brought.
Technical skills.
Nah.
It's opening the shower. Like,
Well, I
I'm
thought
pretty
the
sure a
shower was
3-year-old
going to
could
blow me
turn that
up.
off.
So I
don't
did
know how
not
the door
open the
works.
shower
The
because I
thing
didn't want
about
to die.
this business, guys, is once you have these tools and stuff in place, you can sit in your underwear in your office and have fun and act a fool and make as much as you want, because that's what these tools do.
We are not wearing our underwear, by the way.
Oh, I'm definitely
I'm wearing underwear.
I mean, we're not wearing.
Lindsay, please
You
speak
can
for
speak for
yourself.
yourself. Do not.
I decided
We're
to
not
wear it.
wearing just our underwear.
Oh, okay.
That is different.
That's different.
That is a completely different
That is a
statement.
completely different
Those
story.
are different
Where are we
words.
going here?
Why? I mean, talking about toothbrushes and then
I'm telling you.
I don't know where she.
What has happened to this program?
She's hijacked it. It used to be a nice Christian show.
Yes, and you know that
Christian-
guy who come up to you and he
Justin,
says,
come
"Hey,
get
can we
Lindsay."
just get through the weird stuff to the business?"
Yeah.
Now we know why.
Now we know what he's talking about. Now we know. You know, it all started with this CBD comment, and
I
ever
just
since
meant we weren't like
then, we.
inappropriate off camera. That's all I meant.
Yes.
Yes. No one's.
Oh, we're definitely inappropriate off the camera too, but that's a whole nother story.
we leave the inappropriateness to when we're on the camera. Any other questions?
Yeah,
The
we
whole
had
thing is, I have not in my heart. Like
Listen,
That's
let's.
defensive. She's got in my heart.
She's starting to feel guilty.
no, I'm telling you, I thought that toothbrush was going to set my house on fire.
I am sending a text message to your pastor and asking him,
Yeah.
please do not listen to this episode.
Episode 394.
It was innocent.
It was innocent.
I really did think that my house was going to explode and I need to protect my children and my dogs. And like, I was trying to figure out a plan for safety.
The worst comment and
Worst comment
ever made, and one that still leaves us all asking, why is there an electric toothbrush in the shower?
Thank you for listening to our show today.
A blog will help you do that. Number 6, a blog will help you tell your story. And I want to tell you, nothing sells better. Nothing you do. There is nothing you can do or say that is going to do better for you than telling your story. Your story has more power and more potential for you to turn a profit, to grow your platform, to be able to widen your footprint, to have more impact, to be able to reach more people in a much more deeper and meaningful way that builds that rapport that you so desperately need and want for your business. Nothing will do that better than telling your story. Everybody's got one. I like what Eric Thomas said one time. He says, I might not have been through what you've been through, but I've been through my go through. And telling people what you've had to go through helps them understand, okay, this is a real person. It encourages them. What is encouraging people? It's literally taking courage and putting it on the inside of them. When I tell my story of how it was just in 2008, I was broke, busted, and disgusted. I was just steps away from being homeless. Our house was being foreclosed on. We were literally days away from get out of the house, a house that we had lived in my whole life. I was raised there, been in my family for years. It was the old family farm. My great-grandparents met at a barn dance on that piece of property. Telling that story and finding myself in a food bank looking for benevolence to feed a family of five children and a wife, actually a family of 7. Telling that story informs people that, hey, I don't know where you're at, but I've had my own thing. I get struggle. And it also lets them understand why I'm so passionate about what I do. Because the very training, the tools, the technology that I use today is how I, just in a short period of just a decade, have gone from the outhouse back to the penthouse. But more than the softwares, the systems, the website.
What's up, Fire Nation? Another bonus episode coming your way. This one was a great chat. I had a lot of fun with Terry Wilson. Terry is a serial entrepreneur who offers entrepreneurs and solopreneurs the tools, training, and technology needed to earn and enjoy more. For the past 13 years, he's helped thousands of hungry individuals discover their thing, develop the skills to do it, and be given a strategy to deliver it to market and produce value. Terry has a weekly podcast that can be heard on iTunes, Stitcher, and at terrywilson3.com. He also wrote a book called You Are Worth More, which you can check out at youareworthmorebook.com. We have a lot of fun in this episode, Fire Nation. I truly hope you enjoy. It's hard. It is hard work to achieve uncommon success. But you know what else is hard, Terry? Being broke.
You better believe that.
Living paycheck to paycheck, not being able to support your loved ones, not being able to support yourself, not being able to get up in the morning and do something that you want to do, but doing something you have to do. That's hard too. So Terry, my call to action for everybody here is choose your hard. Like back in 2012, it was hard. I spent 32 years of my life doing hard work and making the wrong decision on choosing my hard. I was going down the wrong path. I wasn't having any success. But then I flipped it. I said, you know what? Building this business, Entrepreneurs on Fire, it's going to be hard work. But the alternative is hard too. So I choose the hard of building a life of freedom, of building a life of choice, of building a life of uncommon success. And that's my call to action to everybody hearing our voices today. Choose your heart.
Choose your heart. Boy, I love that. Because there's a high cost of low living. And sometimes we think that, we're just going to get out of this easy by taking the path of least resistance. And boy, sometimes the end of that path is just a tiger. I'm telling you, brother,
Identify your big idea. Not be a weak, pale imitation of somebody else's big idea, which most people do. They're like, oh, look at what Terry's doing. He's so successful. Look what John's doing. I'll just copy them. And then you wonder why you fail, because you're a weak, pale imitation of those people and you will never win as a result. You need to come up with your big idea your zone of fire and wake up every day on fire, living that life. That is the life that you deserve. Because what at the end of the day do we really want? Freedom. The ability to wake up and do what we want, where we want to do it, with whom we want to do it with. If you have those three things, what more is there in life? And you can give yourself that gift. Just take it.
Which is identifying, why are you here? You know, I like to say it this way. You're not a cosmic accident. You didn't show up on planet Earth because lightning struck a mud puddle billions of years later and you crawled out. You're a significant person with a significant reason for being here. There's a reason for you to be here. And once you identify that big idea, as John just said it, life becomes, oh my gosh, becomes unimaginable. Give us another. Go ahead.
Just on that point real quick. I mean, I think it's so key for people to understand this, like what Terry is just sharing. There is so much wisdom out there in this world, but there's also so much noise and it's chaotic. And sometimes it's so hard to really cut through all of this and to really get to the meat and potatoes, to really get down to what matters.
Does anyone know Terry's story, what Terry did?
I do.
So Terry sold musical instruments, sold pianos, right? And what was it? Was it 9/11 that created the problem?
Yeah.
9/11 creates a problem. Nobody wants to go. There's no money in town anymore. It's a brick and mortar store. Some woman comes up to him in church, some older woman, and she's like, I was thinking about your problem, and the Lord told me you should sell them on the computer. Sell your pianos on the computer. And Terry's like, that's a great idea. I got to get out of here because you're crazy. So, of course, he does it in that sweet way where he says, oh, bless your heart. And
Bless your
he
heart.
thinks about it. And then he's like, you know, he told me about the story about, you know, the guy, it's a flood and, you know, you should get out. No, the Lord's going to save me. And at the end, he goes to God and says, why didn't you save me? He's like, I did. You know, I tried. I sent you the news report. I sent you a helicopter. You know. So Terry takes that and he's like, God's telling me what to do here, right? So that was the message. I should sell these things online. His first thought when the woman tells him that is, how am I gonna, because she said her grandson sold CDs.
On eBay.
Yeah, Terry's like, how am I, you could just I can't put a stamp on a piano. This is crazy.
Drop it in the mailbox.
Yeah, so next day, right? The next day he starts sells them out in a week. So he doesn't think about, he doesn't latch on to his idea of I can't ship these things cheaply, right? He just goes past that. He goes, well, what's my first solution? My first solution is I got to sell these things. That's all he's thinking about. He sells out his whole inventory in a week. Then the problem comes to him. How do I get rid of these things? I've now sold them. How do I deliver them? So what would you guys have done?
Hire a U-Haul and drive them out there.
Yeah, that's what Terry did. Terry got a truck and just was like, well, I'm gonna take my brother-in-law. We're gonna go around the country. We're going everywhere. And he delivered pianos for 2 weeks. That's amazing. And then, you know, then he's like, oh, and the next thing is I talk to someone and as he goes and he talks to the manufacturer and he's like, so, you know, where are these things? You know, if I want to get them, how do I sell them? And he doesn't go into the conversation with the idea of, I'm going to figure out how to make this more efficient for myself. Or maybe he does to a degree, but he doesn't make that his outward appearance. He's not desperate. He's desperate, but he doesn't portray desperation. He portrays, as he's talking to the person, he's asking them questions about their business, and they give him the keys to the kingdom. They tell him the whole layout. They tell him exactly how to run his business. Now, in Watergate, did you ever hear, like in the first week after Watergate, Woodward and Bernstein spoke to a Spanish guy down in Mexico, and the joke was, he told us exactly what happened, but we don't speak Spanish, so we lost the story. It turns out that was true. They got the whole thing in the first week, but didn't understand it. Terry got the whole thing in the first week and put it together. He hears, you have warehouses all over the country, so why don't I sell them and then you guys will just deliver them locally? He gets that in an instant. He doesn't think about the problem. He doesn't think they're not going to do it, any of this stuff. When I hear about Terry selling them and he just gets in a truck, my first thought with that is,
Welcome to TerryWilson3.com.
Over one decade of helping others
Discover, develop, and monetize your skills and talents
at TerryWilson3.com.
This is the Terry Wilson. Really, I'm excited, Terry. I want to get started.
Here's your host, Terry Wilson.
Thank you, Christopher B. And you are listening to our podcast, and we are back. Where have you guys been?
I don't know what to do with my hands. It's been a minute.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
It's been a minute since we've been on a podcast. What's it been, like a month and a half?
I think I don't even know what all these buttons are for. Of course, I didn't know before.
You didn't know before, but,
So
but now you definitely don't know.
I'll tell you what, now it's going to be fun to see if we can even make it through this show with me not pressing the launch code.
This whole podcast is a scrap. Minus Valerie's part, I'm sure there's going to be some actual valuable information.
If we didn't have someone in here that actually knew what was going on, I don't know.
Scrap.
That's for sure. Well, tonight is episode 468, and it's entitled From the Beginning. To understand how anything works, or how to bring value, how it brings value, how it solves a problem, creates solutions or functions, you must go back to where, why, and who it was created by and for. If you listen to my podcasts at all, you know I've said many times, and it's the heartbeat of my book, You Are Worth More, that you are not a cosmic accident. You're not here because lightning struck a mud puddle and you crawled out billions of years later, but instead you're created by, with, and for the purposes of greatness. Now, I know in today's culture and society where we've opted for cynicism rather than faith and settled for status quo instead of reaching for the possible, that just sounds like old fuddy-duddy pap from yesteryears. But let me say this, if believing that I can earn, enjoy, and experience more because of the greatness that was breathed into the soul of my being since the beginning of time, if that makes me just an old fuddy-duddy, then just write me off as one of the old timers. But I don't believe I'm alone. As a matter of fact, I know I'm not. In tonight, we have a special training from a TW3 personality, a TW3radio.com personality, Valerie Willams, which you can hear Valerie on Thursday nights at 6 p.m. at TW3radio.com. So check her out and stay tuned because it's going to be great.
We supposedly have a great show tonight with 2 trainings. I know Valerie's portion will be good. One with how to manage leads with Terry. That's questionable. And then mindset training from Valerie on From the Beginning. So you'll want to stay tuned. If you have any questions, we'll be answering those in segment 4.
Tonight's episode is episode 468, so please like and share the podcast with hashtag TW3podcast468, and you might just win free tickets to the You Are Worth More conference.
You Are Worth More.
We're giving away free tickets for that?
We're going to give away some free tickets tonight if we find someone that has shared the podcast using the hashtag TW3podcast468. Now, if you've already won tickets, we'll still give you some free tickets, maybe to give to one of your clients or something like that. But we have settled on building 1. It's going to be September the 7th through the 9th in Greenville, South Carolina. What was the name of the hotel that we were at last?
Aloft.
The Aloft. So if you remember that hotel and where it was located in downtown Greenville, the Building 1 Conference Center is literally across the...
Also the same area.
So stay at the Aloft or stay somewhere in that area in downtown Greenville, which is Main Street. If you Google the Aloft in Greenville, I think there's a couple locations, but it's the one in downtown on Main Street. Well, Building 1 is literally right there across the parkway or alleyway.
Gotcha.
So
do you think if I plugged Halls, they'd let me eat there for free?
I think we could. Yeah, Halls.
Yeah.
Yes, Halls. How many times can we?
Halls.
The best steak in South Carolina.
Yeah, it's probably like save yourself a couple $100 to spend because it's a pricey restaurant. That's where I take Alicia for like our anniversary and stuff. It's
what is it? $100 a plate or something? I mean,
there's $75 steaks. Like,
yeah, it's ridiculous, expensive,
but it's really, really good. It overlooks the bridge on like Greenville's little park, so it's worth the money in my opinion.
It's a special night out type place. It's not something you go every weekend. But
if you don't like that place, there's 100 other restaurants that aren't that.
There are so many. Debbie and Ben that came down for your wedding.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they realized all of the amenities that downtown Greenville offered.
That's my favorite thing is when I'm talking to clients on the phone and I mention Greenville and they're like, oh yeah, that's actually a really nice place because you say South Carolina, and if you're not in Charleston, at least from my experience, I'm not saying this is true, but from my experience, if you say you're in South Carolina, they're like, oh, you're from Podunk, wherever. And if you're not from Charleston, but then if people that come and see Greenville, it's like, oh, this actually is
Charleston.
A nice town.
Charleston is a great stop if you come to the Palmetto State. Myrtle Beach is known for the golf courses, or it's like, I call it Little Daytona. It's become a little too commercial for my taste.
Well, now we call it Dirty Myrtle.
Yeah, it's everybody's has their own opinions. I don't want to.
If you're not going to go to the beaches, Greenville's kind of the place.
The upstate is the other part of South Carolina that people have. You've never been. The upstate is beautiful, but right there in downtown Greenville with the suspension bridge over the river, Reedy River.
Yeah.
And it's got the Peace Center there, and there's all kind. Do what?
Peace Center.
Oh, you're doing the peace sign.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things that's happened that's made news, and it's known for some good, some bad. I get a laugh every time I go by the Peace Center just because I remember a particular debate where a presidential candidate said, "Look at these hands. Are these small hands?" That was at the Peace Center.
Oh, is that where that was?
That's where it was.
That's hilarious.
So I chuckle a little bit every time
Stamp it. Make it gaudy and gold. No particular reason why.
It's branded as a particular time period in our electoral process. But
These look like small hands.
does he look like that? And I promise you, there's nothing wrong with anything. It's like a stand-up routine, that whole. But anyway, let's get off that. There's nothing but trouble there. Yep. But anyway, we got a great show tonight. Thank you guys for giving us the time to take off and enjoy the Northeast and time with the family and just enjoying it. That, to me, that's the benefit and the fruits. That's what we're selling. When it comes to, at the end of the day, what are we selling here at TW3? Because at the end of the day, all these tools, these technologies, these things, they're going to change because the technology is going to change. Better business practices are going to change. But at the heart of all this is just freedom. Yep. The freedom to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, and make as much as you want. And to be able to not only sell it, but to actually enjoy it and live it is, a dream come true. So thank you guys for giving us, I'm speaking specifically to our members who was sending me text and email, hey, when are we going to have a mastermind? I'm ready to get back, and all that. So our first mastermind is this coming Wednesday. If you're an elite member,
awesome.
Come on in. I've got some special things I want to show you and talk to you a little bit about the conference as well, and some special things we got going on there. And if you've never been to our conference, I'm telling you, ask anyone that's been there, and they're probably writing it in the chat right now as we're speaking. It is, for some folks, life-changing, because there's one thing to see things in a webinar and see things in a video presentation, or hear things on a podcast or all that. But then you get there and you get around people that's just like you and me. Nothing special other than just gifted from God and believe in themselves and see what they're doing. And I look back at what Chris has done, and I look back at what so many other Gary's done, and all of these folks, and they all attribute it to being there, and not necessarily with me. It wasn't any specific training that I offered, even though I think,
in spite of you,
despite me.
I see a lot of comments like, "Well, Reagan's mean." Like, it's a joke.
No, that's your gig. That's your stick. You're supposed to be the.
I'm paid to do this. All right.
Hey, I don't know if I played. I'll go back and listen to episode 467. You guys specifically. I don't know if you heard that one, but last week when I got back, I just did a pre-recorded one in here and just put something out. Okay. And I was talking about community, and in the last, I'd say go to minute around 17, 18 minutes in. My last mastermind group, with the mastermind group I'm in with some of these entrepreneurs that I talked to you guys about, that was my last week, and they wanted to just sort of give me a send off and say thank you. And it was I wasn't well, I knew that they were going to do it, but it wasn't something I was pulling on, or that you need to do this. I was right. Anything like that. They just wanted to do it. And
with Cliff
and some of those guys, and Cliff's specifically, all of them had different, and it was really unique to hear other people's perception of you.
That's always fun.
Well, it is, because it helps you get outside of yourself, because you can only judge yourself so much, and you try your best to be as honest with yourself as possible. But you need, that's the benefit of masterminds, to be quite frank.
Yeah.
And everybody was giving me, their take on the business and communicational accolades and the technical accolades that they were giving me, all that. Great. Cliff. Terry, I just want to tell you, because, we're in a room of entrepreneurs that are a who's list, and people that are achieving all kinds of things. And this is what he said. The thing that I think about, he gave me two things. One, he said, you're the comeback kid. Every time I think of Terry, I think about the comeback kid. And number two, how he incorporates his family in the business. Now, he's got a family with children. He says, I love your boys on your podcast. And their humor and the way they go back and forth with you. And, he just, now, to me, that was so touching and inspiring and encouraging, because he is the what do you call it? The OG. That's he hasn't given himself that title, but several people have.
He's the podcast king.
If you want to know about podcasting and doing this format, on the highest level, he's the guy.
You hear that, folks? I have a pass now. Cliff said it's funny. All right.
The OG of podcasting.
He likes my jokes.
Said you guys had some value to this.
And I'm gonna go back and listen. He's like, that River kid, hilarious. You can probably do without Rick.
The other guy, you need to reel him in.
He's kind of annoying.
But anyway, I thought you guys would like that. I was like, well, that was very touching, because he likes how we incorporated you guys and Gabby into the business, and you guys on the show. So he thought it was pretty cool. But when we get back, Reagan is going to take some of your questions. Valerie is going to offer a training. I'm going to offer a training. And then we'll get into your questions. If you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat now. One of our guys will get to you if we don't answer it at the end of the podcast in segment 4 when we get back right after this. Earners are learners, and leaders are readers. If you want to go to the next level, you do have to grow to the next level, and that's why I offer free audiobooks at terrywilson3.com/free book. That's terrywilson3.com/free book. When you go over there, you're going to get to try the service out for 30 days free. No obligation, and you get a free audiobook just for checking it out at terrywilson3.com/free book. Let me ask you something. If you had to cold call people, what do you think your success rate would be? Some people it'd be great. I'm gonna tell you, I am a professional salesperson. I've been in business selling mostly for 25 years, and I would starve. But I have a system that I can go in and I can say, okay, I want this age group, this income, this credit rating in this region of the country. I want to record my voice. I send them a 15-second message. 10,000, 1,000, 5,000, whatever I want, but I usually get about a 2% response. That means for every 1,000 people I call, I get about 20 people. I get 20 people back, and then all of a sudden, I'm engaged in a conversation that's got a high rate of conversion, because all the cold calling, all of the awkwardness is done for me. That's the power of the TW3 broadcaster.
And now back to our show with Terry Wilson.
You didn't like that I said it. I'm going to say it this time. I won't do it. This song reminds me of Toto, by the way. We're back. So we're going to get into the training with Terry on how to manage leads for better profits.
Thanks, Reagan. Well, tonight I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the importance of a lead and how to manage leads. One of the things that can happen to members at TW3 and anyone who gets proficient with developing and being able to drive leads is you start looking at them as, well, not as important. You don't value them maybe as you once did when you were having to cold call and really hustle and really, really try to get in front of people. So as you learn how to use these digital marketing tools and the various strategies and how to get in front of people, it can become very easy to just say, okay, well, if I don't sell this one, and that's great. And it's actually, we sort of put that as part of added benefit once you become a member at TW3, that you have this lead generation marketing tool that you're not as uptight at, oh gosh, if I don't close this sale, what's going to happen? So that's a great benefit. But I wanted to drill down tonight in our training on how you can use tagging as a means to monetize that lead later on. So if you're in an interview process, maybe you have generated leads for an insurance business or a real estate business or a restaurant business, or you've got a business opportunity or whatever it is, you're driving leads and you're getting in front of the people. Well, one of the things I would advise you to do and ask you maybe to consider for your own benefit is in that process of speaking with your prospective client, take time to sort of get to know them, understand what makes them tick, learn about their family, learn about their hobbies, to the extent that it's appropriate. I mean, you can't start getting creepy with it. I'm not saying that. But if I'm on the phone with someone and I'm talking to them, let's say just about the lead generation marketing tool here at TW3, our marketing platform, and maybe it's an insurance guy. And so I say, what part of the country from? Where how long have you been in the business? That's great. In the rapport building process, though, I'm going to start asking questions like, tell me a little bit about yourself. Do you got any kids? Married? How long? And I'm just taking notes. Now, while it might sound conversational, maybe we drift off into our favorite music, our favorite movies, sports, religion, politics, all the travel interest. While I'm in that rapport building process of talking, I'm taking notes of everything I can about this person. Why? Because I want to show you something right here in the back in your CRM. And if you're listening to this on the audio version of the podcast, you might want to go over and check out episode 468 for this particular training, where I'm showing how using a CRM, and I'm in our back office right now. It's up on my screen if you're listening. We have a CRM as one of our systems in our back office. Well, when I go back there, let's just go under contacts real quick. And I'm talking to that person and they've come through my funnel and they've booked an appointment to speak. I've got all of these leads right here. Well, if I'm on the phone and I'm just going to pull some arbitrary person here real quick, and I'm just going to click on quick edit. And so I like that person. Let's go to the next one under here real quick and just pull this up because I didn't mean to hit quick edit. So I'm talking to this person. It looks like this person's out in Seattle, and looks like the lead is cold right now. So I know a little bit about their activity, and I know how they came through because my system has automatically tagged them through the sales funnel I've created, some different things. But I can right here, as I'm talking to them on the phone, add different tags. Because maybe this is an insurance agent, they're in Seattle and we're talking and I get to find out they're baseball fans. So maybe I'll put MLB right there as a tag. And then I get to find out they like to travel and they do a lot of vacations. I'll put travel there. Now, why is that so important? Well, maybe this person doesn't buy my lead generation marketing tool for their particular insurance business. But because I've got them tagged different ways, if I've got something in my referral marketing package later on, maybe Ticketmaster comes out with 50% off on MLB tickets. Well, I will send out a campaign to everyone that's tagged in my CRM here, And that's a way that I can continue. And I'll even put in the email, hey, and then I put in the parentheses their first name, and it'll look personal. I remember talking a few weeks ago and knew that you liked baseball. Right here, I saw this and thought of you. And it'll be a link to an offer I've got. That is the way, that's the value of leads. As you generate leads and as you're building your list, and I know a lot of marketing quote unquote gurus have said over the years the loot is in the list, and let me just tell you, it is. That might sound cliche, it might sound oversimplistic, but one of the first activities you have got to start getting engaged in as quickly as possible when you launch a business, when you start a new campaign, when you start any new project, is you need to start building your list, because in those dry seasons that you might have, where marketing dollars aren't as readily available because there's a little bit dry, it's a little lean season, and so you don't have the money to put behind, maybe doing some sort of social media ad for $500 or doing some keyword ad campaign, or maybe doing voicemail drops, or all of these various marketing strategies that we show you does have a cost. Well, sometimes sales are soft, business is slow, and you don't have a lot of money. Well, if you have a list, if you've already over the months created, and tried to bring in 200, 300, 400 leads a week, 500 leads a week, and over a 6-month year period, all of a sudden you've got an email list of 10, 15, 20,000 people. Well, it doesn't cost anything to send out those emails, hardly. I mean, it just does, especially in our CRM system. And even if you don't have ours, maybe you're using a third party like MailChimp, GetResponse, Aweber, one of those constant contact companies. The point is, if I've got that list and I've got it tagged correctly, then I can, for every offer that comes down the pike, it does two things for me. Number one, it gives me a reason to re-engage that client. Okay. So now I'm not just always coming, hey, you want to buy something? Hey, you want to buy something? Hey, you want to buy something? No, I'm coming back. Hey, I thought of you. I know you and your family like to travel. And I just saw where booking.com is offering us 75% off. And I'm actually a referral marketing partner of theirs. I would be indebted if you decided to use this link and take advantage of the savings. I'd love for you to use this link because it helped me a little bit too. But even if you don't, just thinking of you, hope you're doing well. Let's re-engage when the time is right to talk about fill in the blank, whatever I was selling them. See, a lead is it's money in the bank, because even if I don't initially sell them something on that front end, if I have done due diligence in that interviewing process, in that need analysis process, in that getting to know them, and tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me a little bit about your family. Where do you live in the country? All this, and it's going. And if I do it correctly, and I have a pure heart, so I'm going to do it correctly, and I'm genuinely interested in that person, building a relationship with that person, I don't necessarily care if I sell them on the thing that I'm talking to them about, because I know if I've done my job, I have created a relationship there that hopefully will stay on my list. And if I've done my job as a marketer correctly and taken good notes in that process of what they like, what they're about, and I've tagged them in my CRM, then every week I come in the office, I'm looking, hey, what's my referral marketing partner over here offering? What's my referral? Oh, there's something about travel. Oh, there's something about, a political or theological thing that's going on. Hey, blueletterbible.com is offering 50% off on their study Bible tool. And I know a lot of people that I've talked to that are from the church world and find value in that. All of a sudden I've got to say, hey, I don't know what kind of tools you're using for your scripture, but here's a good study tool. And all of a sudden I'm sending them this little plug-in that they can put in their Google or their Chrome browser, and hardly costs me. Maybe it's free, and I'm getting $1 for every time they download that, which is actually one of our offers that we have. That's the point. If you will take time, build a relationship, understand who your client is, Show genuine interest in them. And then as you are finding out about them, taking good notes, tag that client. Baseball, football, basketball. Maybe you want to get real, sports, and then drill down which sport. Religion and politics, and then, a little attitudes there. Where are they at on that? Travel, family, all of these interests. It's going to go in to me being able to follow up later on with great value, offering things and giving myself rationale reason, good reasoning to get back in front of them. Oh, and by the way, I'd love to talk to you about whatever it is I'm trying to sell later on. If you will do that, I'm telling you, tagging your list and your leads that you're talking to is going to help you later on down the road monetize that list. And if you've got a list, you should never have a reason why you have a lean day, week, or month in your business. All right, let's get back to the guys.
You're listening to TerryWilson3.com.
Inspiring, informative, and entertaining content for the entrepreneur and small business owner.
And now back to our show with Terry Wilson.
All right, we're back from the break, and now we have a special training from Valerie Willams from tw3radio.com, so let's get into that now.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Terry, for that warm welcome. So glad to be here. So glad to be back with the TW3 family and to be a part of this lineup. So excited. So let's dive right on into our training tonight. Tonight, I want to talk about back to the beginning, where it all began, multiple income streams. What I would like to do tonight is I actually want to provide and create an experience for us just to further drive my point home as to our topic tonight. I also want to impart and leave an imprint on your spirit and just to create a real positive memory. Today, I want to take us all on a trip back into time. Yes, I said I want to take us on a trip back into time. Now, we have all heard of the movie by Michael J. Fox, Back to the Future. Well, we're going to go back into time. And so wherever you are right now, if you're able, I want you to just remove all of the distractions, provide me with your undivided attention, sit back, relax, focus, and imagine with me and visualize going back into time. So where are we going? We're going to go all the way to the beginning. We're going to go to Genesis. So what does Genesis actually mean? It's actually a Greek word meaning origin or beginning. It also has to do with priority, order, superiority, and from a biblical standpoint, God himself. So let's begin our journey back into time, in the beginning, to Genesis. So here we are, we're here in Genesis with the creation of the universe, where we're going to go where the creation of man began. God is speaking, and he's actually saying, let us, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit make mankind in our own image, after our own likeness, and let them have complete authority over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, the beasts, and over all of the earth, and over everything that creeps upon the earth. One translation in the Message translation even says that he created us godlike and that he blessed us and he said, prosper, reproduce, fill the earth, take charge. So God created man in his own image. In the image and likeness of God, he created him, male and female, he created them. And God blessed them and he said to them, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth, subdue it, use all of its vast resources in the service of God and man, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, and over every living creature that moves upon the face of the earth. And God said, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of the land, and every tree with seed in its fruit you shall have for food. And to all the animals on the earth, and to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps on the ground, to everything in which there is the breath of life, and to everything which is the breath of life, I have given green plant for food, and it was so. So here you see, I want to take us back now out of time. So here you see that in the beginning, it was the creation of the universe, man, and all that was on the earth. But we heard the command to be fruitful and multiply. We were created to multiply and to give life. Not just childbearing, but it even lies within our mouth. Being fruitful and multiplying, creating, actually resides in us, as we were created in the likeness of God. It's in our mouth as we speak. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Our tongue has power. We're commanded to use all of the vast resources in the earth to subdue, prosper, and to take charge. So we have heard of Spider-Man, Wonder Woman. I'm sure we all have heard of our favorite childhood superheroes. I'm sure if you think back, you can think of who your favorite superhero was. Even today, there are movies and TV shows about superheroes like the Avengers, the Incredibles, Iron Man, Lord of the Rings. The list goes on. There's even a series called The Marvels, where all the good superheroes combine forces to fight evil. So why did we love these movies so much? And why were they so popular even today, even among adults? It's because there is a superhero in us all. There's a superhero in us all. As COVID-19 developed and is coming under control, coming to an end through vaccinations, education, wisdom, and truth, one must look deep on a whole and personally what this meant in a positive light. In terms of changes, shifts, birthing of new things on many different levels, economically, with business, with technology. And I want to talk about exploits and shift a little bit, because when there's a taking of what we have and we have to bring it into something new, this is a form of doing exploits. When something's drying up and you got to take it and make it into something else, this is a form of exploits. I call it tightening in your belt, but it really is a form of exploits. And exploits lie within us. The ability to create, the ability to multiply, the ability to take something old and turn it into something new. This is, in fact, what exploits do. This was and remains a time of learning how to do exploits. Creativity is being downloaded on a totally different scale grid model. There's new ways of doing things to be more profitable, economical. There's increased security, acceleration, upgrades, promotions, transference, changing of the guard, a securing of our future. We really have to understand the times and the seasons that we live in and know what to do. It's also a time to break through that has caused so many and so many more to step out into the unknown. A deliverance from world structures, as the time has taught us to let go of the old slave-like structures and embrace a new provision. We've got to recognize where we are. There's testings, there's blessings, death and life are all in the glory of the Lord, all existing at the same time. But what are we going to gravitate to? So we're in the midst of one of the greatest wealth transfers to secure our futures, legacy, and even leaving an inheritance. So how do we tap into this where we are? We've got to take action. How do we even take action? How do we put things into place? Well, the answer is through creating these multiple income streams, discovering all of the gifts and talents that reside in us, and even being challenged in some areas that will bring about a discovery of these talents and giftings. So as we've seen from the beginning of time, you and I were not only commanded, but we were commissioned to be fruitful and to multiply, to prosper, subdue, use all of the vast resources, have dominion. You even heard, take charge. All of the earth has been given to us. You and I were created to be fruitful and multiply. Again, it is in the fiber of our being. It is in our DNA. And again, I mentioned not just with childbearing, but to be fruitful and multiply, to take our resources and to increase it. This is why we get so dissatisfied with life, because we know that there is so much more. We know that we were created to do more. This is why we have so many people looking for destiny and purpose and why they were put on this earth. So we've really got to tap in to our faith, Creator God, and deep within ourselves, and learn again how to be fruitful and multiply. Learn how to tap into being fruitful and multiply, knowing where the fruitfulness and the multiplication is. If you're listening and you're a member of TW3, you're not a member of TW3, rather, get back to the person who invited you. And if you are a member of TW3 and you're not an elite member yet, get back with the person also who invited you tonight so that you can tap into these additional income streams and go deeper in learning how to be fruitful and multiply. You know, the TW3 platform is a perfect example of multiple income streams. If you're here tonight listening, you are here by no accident. You're not here by accident. You were meant to be here. TW3 is a blueprint of coming alongside of what I call ancient pathways back into the beginning, this Genesis paradigm of being fruitful and multiplying. And it is really living up to that mandate. Now, if you're a member of TW3 and even an elite TW3 member, and you feel as though you're not being fruitful, you're not multiplying the way you want to, I want to ignite you in the command and the commission that was given in the beginning, back in Genesis, back to when we time traveled. Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth, subdue it, use all of its vast resources which have been given to you, and have dominion. Take dominion over everything where there has been the breath of life. The breath of life has been created. It has been put in you. You were created in the form and the likeness of God himself. He's a creator. You are a creator. Be fruitful and multiply. I want to thank you for listening tonight. Terry, thank you for letting me be a part tonight. And again, my name is Valerie Williams. Be fruitful and multiply.
Chapter 1, the 4 words that changed everything. Another day, another dollar. I just clocked in and was super excited. I finally felt like an adult. For the first time in my life, I was working for someone that wasn't a family member.
Hi, I'm Haven, and Terry Wilson's my dad. And the reason why I think I like this is it teaches me not only to earn money and work when I get older, how to earn it. It also teaches me how my dad used to live in the past, what he did, what was his first job, the reason why he came into this podcast sphere. So that's why I think I like his podcast and this audiobook.
Get the audio version of You Are Worth More at coachwithtw3.com. That's coachwithtw3.com. Get the first 2 chapters for free.
Say goodbye to 2020 and hello to 2021. It's time to target our goals for this year, like the goal to be successful. We can do this by exploring new things, following influential people, and giving back to get more. Maybe our goal is to get to know ourselves better by reading more or listening to things which inspire us to push ourselves and follow through so that we can be our best self and get ahead to feel great. So whatever your goals for 2021, find what you're looking for at theleadertree.com, where leadership grows. So check us out Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern at tw3radio.com and theleadertree.com. Because strong roots build stronger skills.
Hey everybody, Miss Bellingby here. I thought I'd pop in real quick from the beautiful Alamo City to let you know about my new show, Look Up with Lori Brown. I'd be honored and grateful if you'll join me on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. There's a saying, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And I'll be talking and interviewing people about how to walk through that. If you'd like to connect or you have questions, you can reach me at LoriBrown7.com. My show will be streaming on tw3radio.com and the TW3 Radio app, and I can't wait to see you there. So when you feel like you're standing in stony ground, it's time to look up with Lori Brown. See you soon.
And now back to our show with Terry Wilson.
Don't you point that thing at me.
So we can be pointed at.
If anybody could be a fly on the wall in this room, we'd all lose our jobs. What are you doing? The camera's not on you.
Good. The audio is though. I don't know if you heard what he said.
I didn't hear what he said.
There was a bad word said.
Am I going to have to go back and edit?
Or what if we left it live?
We'll do it
Shows
live.
we're human.
We'll do it
He was
live.
fixing my hair, and then it went my eye, and then he said a certain word that you're not supposed to say. It wasn't the worst one, but it's like a tier under it.
I'd say fourth tier.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
We did warn everybody. This is our first show back in a while.
Yeah.
Where did I fail?
Oh,
I
so
think
many
around
reasons.
2003. Remember when you had me? You were going good up until then. You kind of plateaued right there, and it went downhill after that.
Oh, my word.
I guess we're keeping it. Now we're moving.
There's a lot of things that people ask me, business advice, maybe other things at times, maybe. But I tell you one thing I'll never be asked about.
Parental advice.
You guys have cleared that part of my schedule up.
Yeah. Well, you know why, right?
Why?
It's because when you see perfection, it's like, that's just a God-given gift. There's no advice that he can give us. That's like asking LeBron, how do you jump so high and run so fast?
Let's not go there.
Okay, fine. You ask Michael Jordan, how do you run so fast and jump so high? It's like, I was blessed by God. There's no coaching tips I can give you. What are you talking about?
Oh, goodness. By the way, I don't even know if we should announce this.
Probably not.
But we will.
Yeah, we will.
On vacation, I did put this over on our coaching podcast. I announced it this morning that we would be producing about 4 more podcasts that has nothing to do with business.
Oh. Well, you said it was like, and then it's over. I was like, oh.
We're quitting. We're getting out while we're ahead.
Make it work for a while.
But we are, and one of them is to scratch our little comedy
I'm really excited about that.
So that'll be coming down the pike. Has nothing to do with business. Won't be even advertising it in this area or space. But
we're gonna be a little bit more. What's the word? Please use a word that I'm not gonna use.
Open and just we're not necessarily concerned about business mindset things because that's not the purpose of it.
I can clear this up real easy. River and I will be on the podcast, right?
Most of the time. Depending.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
My father's pretty much cut and dry around everyone. He's the same way. There's not an act. I don't want to say me and River are acting because we do generally.
Well, you're restrained in business because
our mouths could be a little better.
Yes.
And the idea is during this podcast,
we're going to give you a little more freedom.
we have a little bit more leash. So if that's not something you're interested in,
Don't.
please don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to make somebody upset.
Well,
but
like
at the
I
same
said-
time, I also want to, laugh.
The subject matter is comedy, and some of the people that we're going to be reviewing is comedians that are going to go in all different directions. So the content is just going to lead to some of those opportunities to be a little goofy, but we're gonna have fun with it. That's the main
that's
thing.
the thing about comedy. It's sort of hard to. There's a cap on comedy if you want it to be clean, and I feel like, why limit yourself, right?
Yeah,
interesting way to look at it.
That's an interesting way of looking.
Thank you, guys. Everything has a perspective, and it's good to check it, even if it's a bad perspective. You can
That's
at least
true.
learn from
Now
it.
you got that goes into mindset and stuff.
Right. There's a multi-facet that you got to look at. Good facet. Learn from this one. Go around.
No. River, you're awesome. You are awesome.
Aw.
You are.
I love how you ad-libbed the
But anyway, it's
you
going to be
tell
great.
we're at the end of the podcast because everything's just breaking wide open.
Breaking wide open. So let's get into some questions real quick. I know we got a few.
Okay, question 1. We got this one through email. It's kind of been in the back burner for a while. Can you explain more about the conference?
Conference is you're going to have keynote times where I or someone else is going to be offering training on marketing, mindset, strategies, business building, lead generation, how to close. You're going to have that. You're going to have breakout times where you drill down to a specific niche. Maybe you're in insurance, maybe you're in real estate, maybe you are in health and wellness, business, whatever it is. We've got breakout sessions and then we've got times where we're just hanging out and talking, you know, and networking. And that's really where it comes alive. And we've given a lot of space for that. We try not to clutter up the schedule to where it's just one class after the next, but it's one big boom and then maybe a breakout about that. And then you've got a lot of time to network and talk with other people and ask questions and sit down.
Which all of it's valuable. I don't think any of it's not valuable or not worth your time. But it does seem like a lot of people get a ton of value out of the networking side of it.
Yes.
Like getting to meet other people and kind of see what they're doing. Because at least from what I've seen, if one person's stuck, let's say if, step 4, they're stuck on something.
Yeah.
You can ask us questions, obviously, and you can come to our trainings, but being with somebody that was like, oh yeah, so this is what I did to either mitigate that, or this is how I built it, and then I figured out another way I like to do it. And then maybe you have something like when you're giving pitches, you have a good like closing point where this is when I need to start hitting a certain point in my conversation, and that person may be struggling with it. And so it seems like all the people that we have coming, they always value from that networking side.
It really is. And Chris Miller will tell you his business would not have taken off the way it did had he not been at that conference. He spent the extra money to be an elite member, to be in some private trainings with me and some other elite members. And it was just one little thing I said. It wasn't even a major point, but he picked up on it and it's like a light bulb went off. And he totally went back and reframed the way he was doing some of his business. And the following year, $250,000.
That's awesome.
Second year growing from that. And he attributes all to just spending
awesome.
a few $100s
Yeah.
to be at that conference. So well worth the time, effort.
We try and make it worth your time.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, we do everything. If you don't get value from it, it's not because we didn't leave everything out on the field.
Right.
Because it's not like we're just trying to say, and really it's a losing proposition in the fact we don't sell and capture enough funds coming into it to really pay for all the costs.
Well, that's kind of the dirty little secret, but I mean, I think it's good for everybody to know, we don't make money from the conference. So that shows you, though, that we're kind of hedging our bets on the fact that you're going to get value from this and you're going to take off, because we're not doing it to make money from the conference.
This is not a money-making thing for us. It really isn't. It's just, and I did a little trial balloon back in 2018 and just trying to see. And to me, it's so out of my skill set, personality, and that's why we had to pull
event
coordinator. That's why we pull Chris in and stuff, and it's so uncomfortable for me to do. But in that first year, and we lost money doing it. And in that first year, I saw all the results of what our members were getting. And in the aggregate of that, we got our money back.
Yeah.
It was that people got such value out of it. Their businesses exploded. A lot more TW3 was sold. And through the selling of that TW3 products and packages and memberships, we made. And so we go in saying, hey, we're going to lose 5-10 grand on this, but we know
Yeah.
the coming year.
Well, that first year was kind of like the test run, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it worked out so well. The second year was more of like, okay, well, let's see if it was a fluke. And it wasn't. I mean,
Right.
it kept going. And so 2020 was a weird year. Couldn't hold it. But
Couldn't do it because of COVID and all the other stuff. And that does lead to another conversation. And I'm not getting political, guys, so don't hear me on this. But I know there's tons of people that listen to this podcast from all over the world. And I'm just trying to explain the environment and attitudes of this area. I'm not saying pro or I'm not saying against. Now, in full disclosure, I lean more toward the culture I'm in, but that's just, I'm not making judgments. When you come to South Carolina, I don't know what September is going to look like in the country and around the world as we're coming up. But for a long time, this has been more of an open state when it comes to regulations and a lot of things that go on. Now, you might be pro, you might be against. All I'm saying is when you get here, you're not going to see people wearing masks. You're not going to see a lot of maybe some of the precautions that other areas of the country do. So take that into. I feel like I should say that.
Yeah, no, that's
because
a
I
fair
don't
warning.
want people to go in expecting.
Whether you're excited for that or whether you're against that.
If you're drawn to that, you're going to love it. If you then take precautions. You know, that's all I'm saying because our government and attitudes and political things, it's a very right wing state.
It's a red state.
It's a red state. And
we had a guy say, "Look at these hands."
It's a crimson red state. So I'm not trying to advocate because that's not what this show is about. But I'm just trying to give due diligence because we've got a very broad, cultured membership, and I just want people to understand what they're coming to.
Totally fair. Second question here: how can I generate leads for the car business?
So we got a ton of assets and stuff to be able to do the car business. If you're not in the car business, we can put you in a car business because we got referral marketing partners that will pay you $100 to $500 per lead that you generate, whether the sale of the car is made or not. And then you have a demographically filtered and scrubbed data list of the area in the country you're in that you can email, text, and voice broadcast to through our tools. We show you how to do targeted marketing through social media and things of that nature. We show you how to build landing pages, and we give you assets to be able to attract people to your offer to generate that lead. Even if they don't buy a car at that point, you're going to be able to offer them something, maybe a 2-night, 3-day vacation just for doing a test drive, for instance. And you get a commission for giving that 2-night, 3-day vacation because you're sort of generating a lead for a timeshare company. And that's the dirty little secret. Yeah, they go down there, but they have to sit through an hour presentation. Yeah. But that's okay. You got $50 for that, and it attracted someone to do a test drive or something, or check this out, whatever you're setting it up to be. So that's pretty cool. So we got that, and that's just one of many strategies that we give you on how to generate and leads for the car business and auto business, and that works. And the other thing is not just selling automobiles, but you can sell service, you can sell rental, you can sell insurance, you can sell warranties. There's a whole spectrum of things that we can offer you to get you equipped to get in that business and start.
For a lot of our guys that don't own a car business or don't own a car lot, aren't doing like a used type thing.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of guys that come from like Honda. They're just used to working a floor.
Yeah,
we do car referrals as well.
Yeah.
So if you can just refer somebody to a car like CarMax and Carvana, they're always offering different offers. If you can just get them to fill out a form that says, "Hey, I'll meet this person at this time at this lot." Commission ranges anywhere from $50 to $250. I saw one for Lexus that was doing that. So
yeah. So I mean, some really, really cool stuff, and it gets you out of having to work that lot all day.
Yeah.
And it really, with these tools, you have it really automated so you're not having to actually man the stores.
Over 2021 and 2022, I'd really like to see our car guys take off.
Yeah.
Because there seems like, we've got some in there and they're doing great work, but I'd just like to attract more car guys, and because it's so valuable for them. Like, looking
Absolutely.
at it, I'm just like, it's weird. Why aren't you using it?
Absolutely.
That was the last of our email questions. I'm sure for all of our online questions coming in, we have somebody back there typing out and responding.
Sure. Well, I want to thank Valerie for sitting in that training. She was going to be with us tonight, and I think I broke down probably in some communication on where to be at what time for the Zoom, because we have to Zoom our guest in. Next week, episode 469, guys, guess who's going to be in the studio with us?
Chris. Is it Roop?
Nope. But we could get him in. I mean, but why would you? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Chris. I'm kidding. No, we got the legend, the moneymaker himself. He's launching his show. Greenbacks is going to be in the house with us. For that. Nice. So you got Greenbacks. We had Valerie tonight, and we'll get Valerie in here and do where she's in with us live and as well. But he'll be in with us next week. And so if you want to hear from one of our top producers and hear how he has uses his, I call it his golden script, and all he does is just drive leads all day.
Sounds like a meme, but I'm telling you, after working, more sales calls, now that's a huge part of what I do, there's something to it. There's some magic potion on that script. Or
You're appreciating the skills of Gary a lot more today, aren't you?
I don't know what it is.
Well, he's gonna be in with us next week, and maybe you can get some coaching on the air with him.
I might
say, Greenbacks, help me out. I'm talking to these people. What do I need to be doing to close more? And he's gonna be one of the trainers at the conference. So if you want to have some time with him and sit around, he will be able to show you a little bit of his magic potion as well. Till next time, this is Terry with TerryWilson3.com.
Thank you for listening to our show today at TerryWilson3.com.
Get a free sample copy of the book You Are Worth More by going to TerryWilson3.com now.
If you would like more information on how we can take your money, your business, and your life to the next level, then please visit us online at TerryWilson3.com.